shopping. Okay, and maybe it's good in a way because you might reach some people that might never step into a jazz club. It doesn't matter where we play. I used to play on the streets of New York City when I was 17 years old.
The music today is totally different, totally flat. So we have to capture the attention of the young people.
You don't choose music; music chooses you. So, and also it doesn't matter what kind of music. Music is music. To me, music is music. So jazz, if you want to call it jazz, you can call it jazz. You know, but it's a calling. You know, like I guess like a priest, somebody who becomes a priest or something. They don't choose that. I mean, it's something that happens. So.
Took over my life. I was a painter, but music took over my life, and now I paint with notes as opposed to painting.
My mother was an opera singer, and I was sort of born into music. But I did have many opportunities to do a lot of other things in my life, and somehow music chose me as well. My mother did force me to study piano at the age of 8, and at the age of 13, I heard the music of Charlie Parker and John Coltrane, and it possessed me. And I was fortunate enough to be able to study with the great Elvin Jones down in New York City, where I was raised, and that was about as close as I was able to get to John Coltrane.
I was born in a musician's family. My mother was a classical violinist and a jazz singer in a vocal quartet, and my father was founder of a radio big band where I'm coming from, Macedonia, so he was kind of a jazz pioneer. And he kind of gave his life for jazz music in my country. I didn't want to end up like him, so I left the country 21 years ago. When I was 20, and went to Germany to study jazz.
Music should be judged in any way. So to win an award for playing music, it has its qualities that are great, but then again, it pits certain kinds of music against other kinds of music, certain kinds of artists against other kinds of artists. And music is not a competition. It shouldn't be that. Music is made to make people feel good and enhance their general feelings. So like when you put it on a value system like that, it tends to have sometimes negative qualities because some musicians get left out, and so that aspect of it I have a problem with, but to be acknowledged for something is always great. And you know, when you do quality work, you as an artist, you want your fellow artists to acknowledge that. And when they acknowledge that, sometimes that's even greater than having the general public acknowledge it. But when the general public acknowledges it, then you quote unquote become known and a star and all those kinds of things. But I mean, winning a Grammy is great, don't get me wrong.
I think with all the technology today, Pro Tools and Logic and the internet and the Macintosh computer and all the things that have come out, it enhances the great musician's ability to bring their own music to fruition. However, it makes it too easy for, as Lenny said, for non-musicians to come up with music that the public would accept and brings a lot of revenue as well. I find that as a problem. I find that in many cases, jazz music is being squashed. It's being put on the side for other styles of music that are more popular.
You talk about music in the 17th, 18th century, 17th century. The church commissioned music, and there was a higher purpose for music. And then musicians started making music for themselves, but the dynamic was still at a high level. Now it's about how many records you can sell. Excuse me, not records. They don't even make records anymore. Excuse me. CDs. Excuse me. No, they don't even make CDs anymore. Tracks. You know, and with the internet now, just the whole process of creating music has changed. And I think that's the greatest or the worst thing that's happened to music in the past 30 years. And the worst thing that's happened to music in the past 5 years is American Idol and X Factor.
You cannot recreate excuse me, a great conductor conducting Mahler 5 with a great orchestra. And you cannot recreate that. There are no samples, there are no sounds or synthesizers that can create that. And there's nobody in the world that could program it to make it sound like that. You can do it.
When we grew up, like Mark and I have been playing together for about 40 years.
Unbelievable.
40 years. When we grew up, I think we were learning music more like the way people learn to speak a language. Like, we just learned by jamming, right? We were jamming with Kenny Kirkland and Kendall Denard and people who are, well, considered masters now. And we were just young kids and we would jam. Nobody talked about, oh, this scale and this chord and this whatever. We just jammed, and if it was good, it was good. If it wasn't, it wasn't. But we learned by doing, and I think that now that doesn't happen anymore.
For me, it's always been very important to reach people and to touch somebody with what I do. I feel it's very important that it means a lot to me when somebody says that my concert or my workshop changed their life or helped them get better, helped them improve, or just simply hearing it, you know. And I think that what Bob said about where we grew up is a very important thing.
And I just want to thank you all for coming out. This is kind of different for us to be playing in a mall, but it's fun and it's great, and I hope you enjoy this music.